To make yourself, has turned into kind of a formal. We'd like to be very informal. You want to get coffee, you got to leave, you got it's life. Come and go as you please. So if you got to get up and leave or coffee, just make yourself known. So I'm Larry, I'm our superintendent. I want to welcome you guys here. We appreciate you coming to this, and those that are potentially watching online. Just kind of want to give an update on where we are. We're going to talk a little bit about, get an update on our construction projects. Going to talk a little bit about weather, and we're going to talk about start times, are kind of the three main topics, and then we want to give plenty of time for folks to ask any questions that you have. So we do have some of our board members here. Lorelei Swartz, thank you for being here. Lori Massman, thank you for being here. Ken Enlow, thank you for being here. Anybody else from the board? Okay, thank you guys for being here. So let's, our folks here, Brenda, let's start with Brenda. Just kind of go around of our folks. Introduce yourself and your role with the district, please.
Hi, I'm Brenda Hatfield. I am Director of Quality Improvement.
Joe Martin, Director of Technology.
Okay.
Sue and Chris.
Yes. Okay, so thank you guys for being here. So we talk about being stronger together. We're all in this together. So appreciate you guys being here. So Carrie Ganford, if you would kind of give us an update. Carrie's with Architects Alliance, and they, along with DLR and ACI Bolin, are the architects behind our Capital City High School construction and the renovations at Jeff City High School. So Carrie's got some updates for you.
Hello, I'm Kerry Gamble with the Architects Alliance. I'll give you a couple of updates on both construction sites, and then we have a few progress photos we can show to you. At Jefferson City High School, which is obviously additions and renovations, materials and labor last month totaled about $2.3 million. To give you a sense of where we are, some trades are way ahead, and some trades are still coming. Large things like concrete, structural steel, they range from 13% to roofing at 13% is the high one. If you go down to plumbing, we're about 39% complete, HVAC is 34, electrical is 31. So about a third. Finished area G, finished area A and B and Nichols. We're now in area F, which is the science labs. So I'll show you the science labs. You can't recognize them anymore. So long and short, we're about 27% if you average all the disciplines. Some of them are way ahead, some of them are just getting started because of the scale of that project. There's also a lot of other categories of cost, whether it's elevators, bleachers, access control, athletic floorings. And also the connector between the two buildings as well underway. We'll go ahead and get some photographs.
Where does that compare with your schedule?
Right on.
Okay.
And no slack. Okay, this is, if you're familiar with the building, this is area F. All those windows were multiple science labs. So we're doing pretty heavy renovations. They're gone, being redone. This is looking down a corridor in area F. Some of the lockers come out, some of the block comes out, windows are replaced, new code compliant doors are put in. Next. That is what it looks like in a new corridor. That's area G. And Jason, if you can go back one. That photograph is taken from the end of the hall. The very next hall is this. So that's what some of the hallways will look like when you're finished. That's a renovated area. Next. Again, this is looking into where the science labs are. And if I literally turn 90 degrees, it looks like that down the other hall. And those photographs were taken within 5 feet of each other. Next. The concrete floors, tile has been removed and abated. It's pretty dusty, but you can see how well the concrete floors are polishing in the science labs. We're using the original concrete as the floor finish. Next. This is in the courtyard. So right up here is the cafeteria. This is a hallway down here. So this equipment is digging out. There'll be 3 new classrooms and an elevated deck for dining in the courtyard. Also that, can you go back over? Also this roof is being redone, both inside and out. That's now hidden in a lay-in ceiling. It'll go back to the original, which was an exposed vaulted ceiling in the cafeteria. This is another view inside the courtyard. That little opening is where everything has to come through. If it can't fit through that, they wait till the kids are not on campus and they crane over it. I want Mitchell Pumler is here. He's with Nat Bolts. I want to commend them on the safety aspect of this project. Next. This is Area G. This is the top floor along Lafayette Street is finished. And that's looking from the north, back at the high school at Nichols Center, and there's the connector in between being built. That's from the second floor of Nichols Career Center looking over at Fleming Fieldhouse. So this really is the media center. This would be the entryway. And over there would be the new auxiliary gym, which doubles as a storm shelter. Next. Okay, this is the most critical square footage in the building. This is where 2,000 kids traverse between those two areas. So this will be dramatically different, wider. We're doubling the width of that. And out here it's also obviously very wide around the media center. Next. This is what a hallway now, just a typical hallway in Nichols Career Center looks like. This was area A and B that just opened. And one more slide, I think, of Nichols. That's a student commons area in Nichols. It's an identity for students to gather in Nichols. But right now, another classroom is using it temporarily until their classroom is finished. That's an accidental photograph. Let me give you a couple of points on Capital City. It's obviously a much different project because it's new construction with an enormous amount of earthwork. So the earthwork on the site that you see over there, it's a $5+ million contract. It's about 80% done. The structural concrete is a $4 million contract. That's 92% done. Precast is a $1.8 million project, 92% done. Structural steel, $6 million is 92% done. There's an interesting one, $844,000 worth of painting, and we're 5% done. That's some of those later trades. Plumbing, 62, HVAC, 56, electrical, 51. So the average completion on this of all the trades is 52%. Did I say that right, Mitchell? That sound right?
We're January. We have past February. We have busy February. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm what's being reported, so what's happening right now.
yeah.
And compared to your schedule,
Schedule, are we on schedule?
Yeah, it's going really well. If you walk in there, we've got paint going upstairs. Most of the sheetrock almost finished, but we're going to create customers names. So, kitchen areas, still got some stuff. That is the last structure to go up. Last of that, probably maybe one of you guys have heard is it'll be another week and then one of the last over the sports fields. That's looking around. Even with that great weather.
So is that going to control collection done?
We're gonna have a small amount, a little closer to Frog Bottom, than where the baseball field back there, a little bit of rock in it. There'll be smaller shots. The ones we're shooting right now are the largest shots. They're 50-foot deep. And if you get south of Mission Drive, or it's rocks are going on the side, a little further down. But yes, it's more than the last one. Still all obviously contained to our side.
The blasting too is kind of interesting to watch because it really happens underground. You're watching it. It comes up and goes back down in spots. They do multiple blasts at the same time. location. Also, with regard to the schedule, the idea is for the next semester of school this fall, we'll have classrooms finished, cafeteria, kitchen, admin. Unfinished would be some more classrooms for when more kids arrive. So there's certain rooms that are critical rooms that are being completed now for when the first kids arrive.
How would you handle lunch list and occupancy, and once you reoccupy, could be messing up some of the finishes, if they come back, bring contractors back, how do you handle that?
Just like you said, we go in there and we punch out, inspect the area, write up a punch list. Contractor writes their own punch list too, bring those together, and that work is completed. We go back and verify it. If there's damage done by some other cause, we'll have to get that fixed. But the punch lists are enormous, just because it's a big building. But I would say there's no surprises in the punch list.
Yeah, it's just a potential for problems,
So they're turning over sections of the building that we will punch list and have turned over, and they'll be working on other sections where we won't have students at all. So once it's turned over to us, if we damage it, that's on us.
correct, that's our cost.
Right.
So make sure we minimize that.
Right.
This is actually a photograph taken out of a classroom on the top floor of the academic wing. Looking back, that's the job trailer. This, to give you a sense of scale, that's a triple wide trailer. Next. We've talked a lot about natural light penetrating inside the building and working its way down on the floors. So this is an example of light coming through the roof and going down to lower level floors. There's several of those in the building. This is a look out the windows towards the highway, and that's the beginning of the track work. So this is a view from the student commons area out. That's a view the opposite direction. Those photographs were taken from the same spot. Don't have the railings on there yet. That's a side view through a wing of classrooms, again, for access outdoors and also bringing the natural light down. There's actually, you can't see it, but there's actually a staircase right here. Next. This is another one of those, I also should mention on Jeff City High School, you saw different colors. That's by floor. You see different colors so you know where you are in the complex. This building, it's vertically, according to classroom towers. So we were in the blue, this is in the orange area. And then in all the public areas is hit really hard with the school spirit pillars. Next. This is an outdoor patio, just like Jeff City High School will have one off its cafeteria. That's an outdoor patio dining area that's secured. Just more of the atrium. There you can see the lights up high in the clear story, again how it's filtering down. This is looking out the science area, and that you're seeing the gymnasium being built. You're seeing large openings in it because they continue to move things into that and work on it. It's a gymnasium with an elevated track, actually two gymnasiums. Communicating stair, that's in the center of the building. It's a learning stair that a class can be on that for instruction or study, whatever. This is looking over at the student commons kitchen area with the outdoor patio to my back. Light filtering down in the learning area. Took this picture because it's on the bottom floor in the darkest area of the building. There's no lights in there. This is what it looks like today before you even turn the lights on. That's the same picture from the opposite direction. These are 4 porta potties outside the high school. I'm not going to say where this guy just came from. But we're going to have real bathrooms in the buildings down. That's good. This size of building, the goal, at the front, it's fairly unassuming and a modest entry. So that's the entrance as you walk up, even though it's an enormous building built into the hillside. And that's just a little closer. That is the front door, or where it'll be. Offices, it's sped over here, counseling over here, and a secure vestibule. I think that's it. That it? Yep.
In the athletic facilities, are those for games, or are those simply for practice, or is there a combination?
They're,
For everyone,
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what the question was.
the gymnasiums, are they?
No, she
are they
said
for-
the practice fields.
Any, whether that's the gym, the fields,
Any athletic facilities, are they set up for competition? Is that what you're asking?
correct, or just for practice, or is it a combination?
It's a combination. What will be finished here is the 2 gymnasiums. There'll be a football field with track. But as far as a large 5,000 seat bleachers, that's not in this project. So for football, not a 5,000 seat bleacher like there is at Jeff City High School. They're sharing that for football, for competition.
Basketball, the gym will be competition,
Gym's competition.
and football, so
Two
everything.
gyms?
Well, the main gym will for sure be, I don't know what we'll do in the auxiliary gym, they'll have bleachers in it, so you can have small events in the auxiliary gym.
Right.
Two gyms.
And then, the tennis now, as of this week, we're now making that, that'll be our competition tennis site, but everything else will be practice, football will be practice, soccer, baseball, softball, all the other outside facilities will be for practice. We won't have, like, the baseball field doesn't have dugouts, doesn't have a bullpen, doesn't have bleachers, that kind of stuff, but it is a great place for kids to be able to practice.
Competition will be a good.
And all that is master planned in to fit in the future to turn those into competition. Those funds are available for bleachers and grandstands, things like that. The 2 gyms at Capital City High School, the 2 gyms mimic the 2 gyms over at Fleming Fieldhouse is completely renovated, plus a new auxiliary gym. So there's 2 gyms, and then one has a high capacity seating, a couple thousand, and one has a few hundred seating. That's the same at both schools. Any other questions?
Here, if you come out Mission Drive, that original rock, rock cut that was there, part of that's still there. Does that come down? It looks like part of it's maybe on the right of way, maybe some of it's on our property, but as you come up Mission Drive, it really kind of, it blocks the view of the school until you get way up on top. Is that stay?
I know I'm not sure exactly where you're talking about, but I know there's still a lot of work for fields that Jason just mentioned. We didn't know if we were going to have enough money to do those, so those have just become part of the project. You know the rock cut.
I don't think so. I think the little phrase he's talking about is actually, you can see it from Mission Drive. It was cut when they did Mission Drive.
Yeah, it's originally, it's right along Mission Drive.
It's, and then, on the other side of it, are where the fields are. I just wonder if that comes down, or is it's part of an elevated area that they didn't have to spend money on grading down. So, future drive, which is a little further down the hill, instead of taking people down the parking.
Also part of the future for the soccer field, there is another parking lot planned for that in the future. So there's room for it. It's not being built now.
And do we know when steel's gonna start going on, maybe on the connector between Nichols and Big City?
I will tell you, the winter is really, there's, that, and you go on site, there's still plenty of areas to work. But there's no question that the connector has been impacted by the recent weather. You saw just the slab out there. We've been trying to get to that point for the last couple of months with the weather. As far as I know, they'll be able to catch that up. I haven't heard anything about a delay in the project, but no question about the concrete and the steel has been struggling to get up and out of the ground due to weather. In fact, the exact same thing happened on this building. The renovation for the auditorium was going on, could not get this thing up and out of the ground due to weather. Pretty typical in this area.
I know they planned on starting the lot that was great. They've got some really tall ceilings, 18 feet, that start setting as they want to go all schools. So the beginning of the steel is going to be swung because the students are on campus. And so that coordination is still going on, the planning of delivery, and three truckloads of steel that are just sitting in our unit. And so bringing in one at a time, swinging and getting it set as there's some of the smaller steel that's set off on the side and they're ready to go for after school and weekend work as well.
Okay.
So it's also started right now spring break.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you all.
Thank you, Gary. And I might just a reminder, we had shared throughout the campaign that The facilities at Capital City High School, athletic facilities, would be practice facilities, and that they would share competition facilities with Jeff City High School with plans for phase 2, because we assume and anticipate Capital City High School having their own down the road. So ensuring that the plans gel with whatever that time comes, that it is just the next step versus, well, we got to change all this that we didn't plan for. They planned exactly with that. One wrinkle on that is our tennis courts. We don't have the ideal tennis facilities at Washington Park that Jefferson City High School uses. So the ability to use Capital City High School for both high schools as competition, those plans are in place. So there is an exception on that. But the other, basketball, volleyball, which are indoors, obviously there'll be competition at Capital City High School as well as Jefferson City High School. So that was.
Future needs will still kind of conflict with the possible increase in the East End too, so that'll be trying to prioritize which needs first too.
I don't know about conflicting, possible needs conflicting. I think there's, sharing of the facilities. I think it's been the plan the entire time. I don't know if it will conflict with it, but we do know that we have some pre-K through 8 space needs as well. Across the district, we have schools that are, some that are overcrowded, some that are not, and we're working through that as well. So I don't see it as a conflict, but I think we're playing an important role.
It'll compete as far as priorities.
What's that?
It'll compete as far as priorities, which comes first.
Okay, well, you reference East. East Elementary is our second smallest elementary school right now. So that'll be, we'll consider that. And yeah, you got to prioritize when you look at all of our different needs. So, any other questions? Yeah, Steve.
Do you know how many tennis courts you're putting in?
I believe there's 8.
8.
I believe.
So you've got enough for,
We could host,
okay.
yeah, we could host a district or sectional competition there, so.
It may not look like it now, but really the thing that matters to me. We knew we were getting 4, like
Well, I'm worried about 4. Nothing.
Yep, you're good. Good question. Okay, I wanted to touch on the next thing with regards to is just weather. As you know, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we had with yesterday and its inclement weather impacts our ability at times to have school. Our number one priority is student safety. We had a situation yesterday as far as on the timing wise, and things came slick. The weather changed pretty quickly. We had buses en route. Do we have the ability to turn around and come back? We do. We didn't. That is it needs to be very serious. We have parents, our first kids get on a bus at 6:05, and if, kindergarten got on the bus at 6:05, and then we left, and at 6:20 we turned them around, and that parent at 6:06 left and went to work, and their house was empty, and we turned around and went and dropped them back off, that would be we need to coordinate that, and so that's very serious. So it has to be very, very serious to do that, and we can. I've done that one time in my 11 years as a superintendent at about 6:35 when the variety of factors. So anyway, it's a team. I saw John Moon and Frank, Brandon at the bus barn, Jason. I mean, there's a lot of folks involved in this when we make that decision. So ultimately, I'm ultimately responsible. Yesterday was not an ideal situation, and we recognize that. So it starts early, and it didn't start precipitating any until about 4:45 yesterday, and then it changed to ice, and it was different in Callaway County versus on the west side by Centertown, as far as south on our geographical wise district. So any questions on that? I mean, there's a lot of parts, and it may sound like I'm justifying or making excuses. I'll own it. It's not an ideal. I feel like we look at and examine how we determine this after each spring, and how can we get better, and every year is a learning process. Any questions on that at all? Okay. Want to talk about start times. So, as you know, you may or may not know, we are looking to change our start times. The school district has examined this 2 times, I believe, over the last 12 years to consider changing our start times for a variety of reasons. But at the end of the day, our 3 pillars are learning, partnership, and stewardship. And can we improve student learning if we change start times? Could we be better stewards of patrons' money if we change start times? And that partnership aspect of being a part of the process, what does that look like? So that's kind of what has guided this, And if you can save up to $500,000, should you be looking at it? Absolutely, you should be looking at it, and I'm not doing my job if we didn't examine that. So at our last board meeting, let me back up. Jason Hoffman started presenting, I believe, at the November board meeting. It's been discussed many times before, but officially went through a presentation of what it looked like in the tiered routing system with regards to our buses and how can we be more efficient. I have shared that I got my CDL and drove a bus because I hear, I won't use the word complaints, I'll use the word opportunities on how we can get better. So I wanted to experience it myself to see what it looks like. And there are times that we're trying to do a tiered system and when I say tiered, a double route, as far as drive a route, deliver the kids, and then go drive another route when you have at least an hour, 55 minutes to an hour gap between the start times, you can do that. And Jason went through, did a great job on explaining those cost savings. Would you go back just to I want you to be able to see where you can access all of our information. The only thing that is not on there that will be added here today, I basically put are the stakeholder feedback start time discussions where our community has had an opportunity for feedback, questions, education on this. 48 times of just different days documented when those and what those groups look like. So we'll put that on there so folks can see that, but everything else I believe is on there. So this is jcschools.us is our main website. In the middle page, start and end time changes. We're asking folks to take a survey right now. Here's where you click on the survey. There's a lot of information before we get to here. There was a lot of feedback on social media that where'd this come from and all at once? Well, it's been discussed for quite some time, and looking at options. The decision was made to have elementary schools go first, with our secondary going second. And then within that, we're asking folks, hey, what would work best for you? This is factoring in student input, staff input, parent input, community input, our input, the board's input. We're all in this together, and we're going to ask the board make a recommendation to our board for them to take action here at our March board meeting, which is on March 11th. So we're asking right now a survey. I believe you shared with me this morning. We had 2,400. It's not that one. 2416, 2,000. Okay. 3 options here as of this morning. We had 2,416 or 2,419 folks that had shared their thoughts on that. So we encourage you to do that if you have not. Tammy.
High school, 3 options, 10 minutes apart.
Yep.
All of them past 8 o'clock, a normal, standard start time for a working individual. What do we do about our kids as far as dropping them off?
Okay, at the high school?
Correct.
Okay, well, throughout the learning aspect that the pediatrician that came and shared information, the research, Columbia's changed their times to 8:50, Eldon changed their time. Throughout this on how we can increase learning is that their recommendation is high school start after 8:30. So the
I don't care about the studies. I mean, I've had 2 kids go through the high school and studies come and go in my 23 years of parenting. My kids did stellar academically as well as in any activities. I don't feel that study's not going to convince me one way or the other. My question is, how do I get my high school to school and not be dropping her off before the school opens? That's my question.
Okay, good question. So of the options, 8:35, 8:40, and 8:45, the high school will be open. We're going to have them 0-hour time. So if dropping off at 7:45, the high school will be open then. So we offer 0-hour now. It's going to be expanded. We know there are a lot of students that work in the community, and we're going to have more course offerings, especially junior and senior course offerings for 0-hour. So that will be determined at 7:40, 7:45, 7:50-ish as far as class time start for 0-hour. So I anticipate the school being open at 7:20, 7:30. So it would be open to drop off at that time.
So that would kind of blow any study's conclusion. If my child's getting there an hour ahead anyway, she's not going to get any extra sleep. So I'm just making sure that I can drop her off before we go to work and not be leaving her abandoned.
She won't be. And if you choose to do 0-hour, it's not required. Our normal start time will be 8:30, 8:40, or 8:45. And if it works for your family based on co-curricular, extracurricular activities or work to where they want to take a class that starts at 7:45-ish, they can do that, but it's not required to do that. Any other questions on that part of the, so right here, go ahead and click here on the start and end time survey. If you would, just so folks can see. So here's what we're asking folks. This is where we've had over 2,400 folks that have given their response. Just kind of a summary that ties to our learning partnership and stewardship of why are we doing this. So this is the information we presented in a summary and pulled from and gleaned from the feedback that we've received at 48 different opportunities at our community. We have another one scheduled next Friday. We're having a brown bag lunch with Larry a week from today. Invite folks over their lunch hour to bring their lunch. We're not going to provide the brown bag as in bring your own. It doesn't have to be a brown bag. But anyway, just inviting folks an opportunity. I believe Ryan sent that out yesterday. But anyway, just kind of a summary of it and where you can click on to take the survey. We sent that out yesterday, I believe. Yesterday morning is,
We sent out the day after the board meeting.
Okay.
Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
Tuesday at 5 o'clock. So, just want to let you know where that is. Go back if you would with the information. So when you go to on our main website in the middle of the page, this is what comes up, and then click here to the complete information about this. This includes the community town halls we had. We had one on the 29th of January, I believe, at Lewis and Clark, and on the 31st of January at Thomas Jefferson. That summer there, they were live streamed. We had a lot of good discussions there. It's been board agenda items, a lot of different opportunities on this. So live stream actually is archived. You can watch the live stream of those on that information. So including the PowerPoint, is that on there as well? At the bottom, just click on that. So this here is, I haven't clicked on that to see exactly which one this is.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So basically the PowerPoint that Jason presented to the board with a lot of information, the tiered routing system. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our kids can learn. If we can save $500,000 and be good stewards of our stakeholder tax dollars, we want to make sure to do that. And with having our elementary schools, their times from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, it's hard to do the tiered system. So that information's on there that I encourage you, if you have not, to go take a look at that. Your start time at our elementary schools, Jim, I appreciate you coming today and sharing that your kids were wide awake here this morning. So for our younger students and what the research would say on that as far as our secondary students as well after the 8:30. So any questions on any part of this or any highlight things, Brian, or yes, Mike?
You know, one of the big concerns has been before and after school care.
Absolutely.
Especially with the elementary.
Absolutely.
And at the last meeting or the last coffee, we discussed that you guys are going to be reaching out to different organizations. How is that going?
It's gone extremely well. Brenda Hatfield has facilitated, we have 65 local as far as daycare folks that provide before and after school. You want to give a summary of that, Brenda?
Sure. So our biggest providers are Boys and Girls Club and Y-Care. Both of those are interested in expanding, although both of those already have openings. Now, they may not be at the opening at your school, is the challenge and the struggle that we have. For example, Y-Care at Lawson is full, Y-Care at Thorpe isn't. So they do have openings. Both are interested in expanding their programs. Both of them need a 4-year degreed individual and are asking us if we have some teachers who might want to do something after school to help them. So I feel pretty confident that both of them are willing to expand. Of the 65 providers, about half of them provided some sort of either before or after school care. All of them expected that to continue. Nobody expected not to offer that. Of those, the majority of them actually used our buses, which I thought was fascinating. I guess I didn't know that when my kids were little. We were picked up by our daycare van, if you will. So most of them felt like they could expand if parents needed it, but it was all dependent upon parent need. We also discovered Council for Drug-Free Youth is looking to get a grant in place that would be a free service for families. Boys and Girls Club is free if you are on free and reduced lunch, and if not, they have scholarships for those families who have that need. And then for families who don't qualify for free and reduced lunch, or those who do, the YMCA also has scholarships. So about 25% of the kids at YMCA are actually on YMCA scholarships. So I feel pretty confident that there are options out there. Are they, maybe necessarily, does everybody know about them? No. But we're willing to obviously provide people with opportunities and information.
I already last week, President Johnson with Boys and Girls Club talked about their possible, their board has discussed expanding and offering a program on West End. So that's nothing definite, but that's another option that is in discussion point, and they're trying to find some funding and look at the feasibility of a program that would expand what they're doing.
I just know on social media that was working on.
Agreed. And that's why we really went out and looked to see what was available. And some of the folks that I've talked to personally didn't realize or just didn't have any information on the things that are available out there. So I'm hoping that folks will become informed. Obviously, we're interested in helping them become informed.
Yeah, okay.
It seems like some of that research may not be necessary if you left it the way that it was. And the fact that the high school is going to go 35 minutes, well, actually it'll be 45 minutes past the dismissal time now. And the fact that that affects their extracurricular activities, so they're 45 minutes late getting home from normal practices. How does that impact kids with jobs after school? And there's a lot of things that come into play. And in addition, selling me 3 options that are 10 minutes apart as far as the start time, I don't think that's being a good steward.
Okay. Well, if we didn't do anything, it would cost, we're not able to, if you would, I'd encourage, I don't know if you've looked at our presentation on the ability to do our tiered routing system. So we cannot do that efficiently with having start times that are 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30. It costs us $45,000 a route when we do a single route. If we then go do a second route after that, the second route costs $4,500. So
It's
having
been that way for a long, long time. Why all of a sudden is it an issue now?
Because we're adding a second high school.
Correct.
And that's gonna cost another $385,000.
Did we budget that?
Than what we're,
Did we budget that when we put the high school together, the second high
did
school?
we budget?
That's every year.
We haven't done the
That's
third
an
budget.
increased cost now.
Right,
For
and
that
that's
Correct.
second high school, so
So
did
we're
we
trying
budget
to,
the increased cost?
we're trying to save the taxpayers that
Did
money.
we budget the increased cost for transportation for the second high school?
Jason, was that included in the, as far as the bond issue J+C on budgeting the increased cost for transportation of having more routes?
We thought at the time that it would be probably a wash on routes. We knew it would cost more for the doubling the number of activity trips. So we knew, we did budget for what's going to cost to operate a second high school. We knew we would spend more on transportation, but we thought it would only be with the activity trips, doubling the number of basketball games that are played, that type of thing.
I just ask for transparency. If it's because we have a new high school and we've been discussing it for 12 years and now all of a sudden we're putting it back on the shelf, I mean, not on the shelf, taking it off the shelf, because we didn't budget for it, just say that, just communicate it.
That's not the reason why. Can we improve learning? Can we save $500,000?
One of the reasons
12 years.
is that all of our elementary schools start at different times, so it doesn't lend to collaboration amongst the district of elementary school teachers. Like if all the second grade teachers want to get together to talk about how they can improve learning, they can't do it because they all get out of school at different times in the afternoon.
So I'm interested in the high school.
So you don't care about the elementary school?
I understand that, but they can standardize those times without impacting the high
That
school
would cost,
also.
then we would have to have all single routes, and that would cost another $1.5
Good.
million.
And that's why we budgeted when we put the propositions in.
But
Well,
that's
not-
the transparency of it. We're trying to get the elementary schools to all start at the same time so that we can improve learning at the elementary level so that the teachers can collaborate. And if we want them all to start at the same time, it's going to cost you another $1.5 million.
And we should propose that. That should be part of the whole.
It's part of.
We think we
part
could
of the proposal.
use $1.5 million better in other areas versus, hey, don't change this. I mean, we didn't, I talked to Matt Davis, Superintendent Eldon, in July. They told them they're moving from 8 o'clock to 8:30. They told their stakeholders, hey, a month from now, we're starting half hour early. We didn't do that. Obviously, we're a much larger district. When they moved to 8:30, their attendance is up 2.5%. Their discipline is down, their tardies are down. They've seen an improvement, and that supports not just at Eldon, Columbia. They've done the same. Their school started at 8:50. They're Rockbridge, Hickman, and Battle. And with our conference we're going to have with JC and Capital City, Helias, and Sedalia, the start times that will help match as far as competition-wise will allow us to, at the end of the day, it is change, and change is pain. And
It is pain. We've had 2 high schools now we're adjusting to. We're doing a lot of
Right.
renovation. It's a lot of disruption to both the students and the teachers. In addition, we're now looking at start time. We're removing the block schedule. Is there anything else that's going to be changed in 2019, 2020? Because these poor kids and us, as their families,
Right.
need parenting.
right?
Is there anything else that's going to be unveiled? Because I just want to know so that I can make a decision when my child goes to high school.
Anything else unveiled? We're trying to get better, and so we're going to look at anything to try to get better. And you try to vet the process, and you don't dump things on folks, and you ask for feedback, and you work through that. So we're just trying to get better, become a premier school district. We think our attendance, our student achievement, our graduation rates will increase with this, and so that streamlining, and Lorelei had a good point there. So we're right now, our schools, we can't have all our second grade teachers, and when you said streamline that, well, that's what we're doing. We're going to have all elementary and all secondary, and the main decision was, do you have elementary first or secondary first? And we went on what more schools are going to, and the research would say, as far as having your secondary go last with elementary going first. I mean, the reason Jim Vollen is one of our teachers here. He came and said, hey, I just came here, we didn't ask him to, and he goes, I want you to see my kids as elementary kids, they're more wide awake early in the morning. And that supports the research on that. You may not care, but we do, and we're trying to work through that. So, any other questions on any parts here of this on our times? Okay, so I've got 7:42. Anything else school district wise as far as any questions, comments, thoughts that you'd like to touch on? We basically an overview of Capital City and Jeff City High School, the renovations there and the construction of Capital City, the weather, and then start times on where we are. So any other questions on those? What we'll basically do here, we'll stay here till 8, and you got questions, comments, we'd be more than happy to have any discussions with you on any of those. So anything else I need to touch on? Any of our folks here? Jason, Brian, anybody else? Okay, thank you guys for coming. We'll stay around here. Again, thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.